If you make a brand, it's not about just what you're selling, but it's also about you.
Yeah, the identity of the brand, the soul behind it.
Hi guys, I'm Taryn. I'm the co-founder of The Scoop Asia, and welcome to the third episode of School of Scoop. Today we have a special guest. She is one of my really close friends, and she's here to join us today to speak about her brand and her insights about branding, design, and things that you might need to learn about business. So I want you guys to meet Louise Tan.
Hi, I'm Louise Tan. I'm an engineering student, industrial engineering to be exact. I am the CEO and creative director of Mireille Parfums.
So today, we're going to be talking about the 5-step guide into building your brand. So Sim, how do you think this is something that you really like to talk about?
I think as like the CEO, creative director of Louis Mireille, I was really tasked to do the personal branding of LM. And I actually was really happy to take the job because I love to do anything creative and like anything that does with branding, the personality of the brand, everything in that aspect. I love every moment of it. So I think it's also really important to have a personal brand. That's something that people will remember you by.
Yeah. I think this is something that a lot of people really are having a hard time whenever they start a business, because you don't know where you need to start.
Yeah.
Like when they say, okay, I'm gonna build my own brand or I'm gonna do my own business. They usually think about a lot of things like, okay, what is my name?
Yeah.
How is my logo gonna look like?
Yeah.
What are my colors? So there are a lot of factors.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we're gonna give you the 5-step guide for you to jumpstart building your brand.
Yeah.
First step, know your why.
I think you should really establish who you are and why are you starting your brand in the first place. For Louis Mireille, it's a lifestyle fragrance line. So we created the brand to empower women and to celebrate each individual, whether if they're like sporty or very like girly or anything. We just wanted to empower women and give them that extra boost of confidence, as well as men actually, because our brand is for women and men and our scents are unisex. We wanted to create something that people can add to their everyday life and boost themselves up. Yeah.
But why fragrance? Because you know how people are like, they already have their favorite scent.
Yes.
Like it's hard to break it to that kind of market.
Yeah.
So why did you get into the fragrance industry?
First of all, we saw a gap in the Davao market when it comes to fragrance. We noticed that there isn't a Davao-based brand that produces fragrance in like a more high-end type. So we started with that, essentially just like close the gap on that one. And then at the same time, we wanted to do fragrance because you know when you're younger, you might forget like certain details, but you remember that like specific scent or something. Like you know when you're like, for example, you smell popcorn or something, you're like, oh my god, I remember that time when I watched this movie.
Yes,
blah, blah,
yes,
blah. So,
yes. There's a memory associated to that scent.
So we wanna essentially like apply that to our scents. So like it'll be part of people's lives like, for the long run. I know it's kind of like a risky business to get into, and like many people are like, oh, but I already have that perfume. But like I feel like you can always embrace something new and like make new memories with it.
Yeah. So like, would you say that you've always been passionate about fragrance?
Yes, like I feel like in a way that I was always like into it. Like I've always worn perfume. When even as like a younger kid, like I would wear it. When I got older, that's when I like the passion towards it is like I really had like a signature scent. Like I would
So yeah, I think it's important because if you don't know your why, you'd essentially get lost in the process of building your brand, because that's basically your core. So if you're gonna start a business or if you're gonna build your brand, I think it's something that you should be passionate about.
Yeah.
If it's something that you just feel like doing because it's a trend, it's usually that's not gonna last.
You're gonna have a hard time sticking to it. When time comes that you're really tired or exhausted in like doing your job, you always go back to your why and continue your love for the job.
And you really have to know what you want to do. So that includes knowing where you're good at,
Yes,
what you
yes.
excel in, or what your passions are. But it's not necessarily that you focus on those things. You really have to adjust also to the market. And
Yeah.
adjusting to the market does not mean going with the trends. You know, that's
Exactly.
like a fit.
You check the trends to see what people kind of like, but at the same time, do not base your brand on just that. Really like put your own style and spin into it. So then that will differentiate you to other brands also.
A big factor could play that it's how people would remember you, not just as a brand, but as a person. So how do you want people to see you as? Because if you make a brand, it's not about just what you're selling, but it's also about you.
Yeah, the identity of the brand, the soul behind it. So it like kind of just reflects back and forth between you and the brand that you are making.
Yeah. For Louise Marie, how is it associated to you? Like the name itself, right?
Yeah, the name itself. So originally it was supposed to be Louise and Mireille. So Louise is my first name and Mireille is my niece's middle name. We thought it was kind of wordy, so we reduced it to Louis Marie. Louise actually means warrior in German, so that was something that I was really rooting for because I want to empower women through the sense that we are selling. We wanted women to empower different aspects of themselves, like they
Different
don't-
personalities,
Yeah,
basically.
like they don't have to just focus on one. You can be all of that, girl. You know?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And that concept for her brand is basically an intimate connection to who you are as a person. And
exactly.
if you associate your brand to a concept like that, it's easier to sell it because you know it by heart.
Yeah,
So
so that's you
Because
in the
that's
brand.
you.
Yeah.
And your why, the root of that should always be you.
Yeah,
Still.
yeah,
What
exactly.
you want,
Yeah.
what you need, or what you're passionate about. Yeah.
So the second topic is define your audience. It's such a challenge to actually define your audience. We started with women and men, and we wanted to do ages like pretty much include everyone in it because we wanted everyone to love it, you know?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as the brand progresses and like months pass by, we notice our market. It was honestly leaning towards women and like leaning towards women who are 20 to 45 years old.
Yeah.
Who are frontliners, like frontliners as in like people who work at the bank or salespeople
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
people are always dealing with people. There you go. So we've noticed that, or people who are like that, lean towards getting perfumes. You kind of want to make a good impression, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
where they would spray themselves with the perfumes, or that's why it's like selling to them. And we're like, wait, it's
Yeah.
like a conversation starter also to have like,
Like, oh,
this,
your scent is good, you
Yeah.
smell really good.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the best compliments ever. By the way.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Defining your audience is kind of really hard for new business owners or for new brand owners because, like you said, a lot of people tend to target a general
Yeah.
key audience
Yeah.
because, of course, the bottom line is being able to sell to a lot of people.
yeah.
Like you'd want everyone to love your brand.
Yeah.
You'd want everyone to look at your brand. But then that's not always the case.
And then also, if you like don't work on your target market, you get kind of confused with your marketing. It gets hard. Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for example, for us, it started with men and women, and then we noticed, oh, like women like it more. So like, why bother focusing on the like some men more? So we made our brand into like more women. Our posts were more about women, like
Yeah.
self-care and stuff. In that way, it's more concentrated. It's not all over the place that we're trying to please everybody. So I feel like that's something you really need to think about. Or also, it's easier for you to really know who you're making your product for.
Yes. And defining your key audience is not just about gender. It's also about what kind of products they buy,
Yeah.
their age, where they go to, their personalities.
Like, do they go out a lot? Do
Yeah.
they, like, are they homebody or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors to consider, but this is a very important step because you wouldn't want to exhaust all your efforts and at the end of the day, you're selling to the wrong people.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So-
like you're marketing it to like, for example, men, and then they don't like it. So sayang lang ang effort that
Yeah.
you're putting towards marketing it to them, right?
But it's a trial and error.
Yeah,
process.
it's honestly we're still figuring it out. Like it's not like you don't just stop
True.
there. You really have to be detail oriented kind of.
So it's constantly a learning process. you can't really just decide at the start.
Yeah.
So if you're very conflicted now, just decide on something that you think your brand fits in and then move from there.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah,
basically. Next tip, be part of a community. And this is very, very important because it builds your relationship outside your brand or with your brand. For LM, how is it important to be part of a community?
I feel like you really need to like build your relationship with your suppliers, your customers, or even just to like the people who follow you or comment on your posts. Like it means so much. Like you really should let them know. Like for example, for your suppliers.
So for suppliers, it's really important to build relationships with them because they play a big part in producing your products. So let's say that you guys get into an argument or disagreement. It's important to know how to resolve these things professionally and with respect rather than just being all bossy about it because you own the brand. And technically, they're your suppliers or they're your partners. You're working with them and they're not working for you. Well, even if they work for you, there has to be a level of respect of someone who owns the brand. And that's establishing a good relationship.
I've read also in a book, it's called 7 Habits of Effective People. They talk about how it's better to be proactive than reactive.
That makes sense.
So it's like when you're proactive, you look at it based on your principles as a person. So for example, your supplier is like really maldita or like your supplier is like not responding to you at all. How are you gonna react to that? Are you gonna be mad about it, or are you gonna do something that you can change your emotion towards it? Like for example, you could just I'll just like wait, or like I'll work on something else or something like that. When you're reactive, that's when you're like, oh my god, and you're gonna complain about it and you're gonna rant to the supplier and just like cut that person off, you know?
Yes, and that does not help both of you.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel like the same way goes with customers.
Yes.
Or like, when you get bashers, it's like, do you want to be proactive or reactive? Reactive is like commenting on the negativity that they said to you. And being proactive is like, okay, this person's probably going through something. I will let it go and just pray for them. You know? God bless you and your soul.
And that's really hard because these are things that are outside of our control as brand owners or just as people in general. So you have to be careful how you react or how you respond to it. Most especially as a brand.
Because it could really backfire, you know?
Definitely. And as business owners, I'm sure guys that we've had a lot of sakit sa ulo ng customers. If you ever started a business or even just an Instagram shop, a Facebook shop,
you know it's hard.
Selling, you know it's hard. When you are able to start dealing with customers, inquiries, especially online, oh my god.
You have to like really, really work on your patience. It's like key to it, you know?
Exactly. But that's part of being part of a community. And if you're not part of that, how are you gonna be doing business?
How are you gonna grow
as
like a person and a brand, you know?
And establishing relationships with other people as a brand is just as important as doing it as a person. And if you don't have any genuine relationships with other people or other organizations, your brand can't really stand alone. Because, business is all about relationships. In terms of being part of a community, let's talk about how it could affect you positively. So let's say a lot of people liked your product and they posted about it, they talked about it to their friends, to their peers, and that's such a good thing because it's organic. And if you weren't able to treat them like, like they're part of your community as your brand, then that would not have probably happened unless like your product is like really, really good alone.
But I feel like no matter how good your product is, and then if you have like a bad attitude as an owner or it just doesn't matter. If the owner didn't have good customer service or if the owner was like kind of rude about it, like it'll make me not want to buy the product. I'll just get the cheaper version, you know? And like you have to really build a relationship. Like be nice, be kind,
And this is why people don't just buy products or don't just buy from businesses, they buy from brands. brands.
Yeah.
They buy from you. Why are people buying from you? Because they like you as a person. They like how you treat other people. And it's not only because they like your product. So cultivate your community, talk to people, talk to them as a person and not just a brand. It's important. And establish good relationships. So as much as possible, I think we mentioned this in our first video when I was with my business partner Ange. Don't burn bridges.
Don't burn bridges. Fourth tip is establishing your online presence. So I feel like it's really important to establish your online presence since especially now during the pandemic, people can't go out. Right? So being able to really build your brand and like
put it out there.
Put it out there.
So of course, a lot of us establish our online presence by creating a Facebook page, an Instagram page, or maybe like a very simple website. Those efforts are okay, and they're a good start for you to be able to put your brand out there. We have so much resources online. You have like things you can do at home which you don't even have to pay for, so you can establish things like, and it's important to use all of those to your advantage for your brand.
It's for free, so like might as well really put yourself out there, and then if it doesn't work, try something else.
Your business, LM, it's not a pandemic business, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
Because a lot of people started businesses during the pandemic.
Yes.
And I think that's a good opportunity for the economy and for other people, because this is where people found their passions and they were able to monetize it. But for us who really started way before that, the social media, let's just say social media world got a little bit more competitive, especially that everything, people are all online. You have to be like up to the trends, and everything.
Actually, for LM, we started October 2019. So it was like, we kind of like peaked and it was like, boom, pandemic. And then
Relate.
right? We're like, like we're going up, and it's like, bang, the pandemic just kind of hits you. And it's like, no one was buying because everyone was scared. Everyone was like,
and everyone was at home. Why would people buy perfume?
Why would you buy perfume, right?
Yeah.
But then again, that's when we started getting more creative as a brand. We were like, okay, how can we market our brand? How can we sell it when people are not going out, right? So you really have to think outside the box. And for example, for us, we have Facebook and Instagram. We really worked on our brand in those social medias so that people would want to buy the brand more. So we would like post interesting photos or like tips and stuff, just so that people will hold on to the brand and the soul of the brand, and like the people who haven't tried it yet would want to like, oh, okay, so the brand is nice. I feel like the perfume is nice also.
I think the main problem for all new business owners or brand owners is that they don't know how to utilize social media from the business perspective. So like obviously a lot of people, or if not all, has Facebook accounts. They have Instagram accounts. But then when you start thinking about, okay, what am I going to post for my brand? That's when they start to panic because they feel like they cannot do it. Like, how do other brands do it? And I think I remember you telling me that you don't have any experience in marketing and design.
None.
So how did you do it for LM as someone who doesn't have any experience on it? Because a lot of our viewers probably don't have
experience on it.
I
am an industrial engineering student, so it's like marketing is not in the picture, sales,
even fragrance is not.
It's not there. I feel like you could really just learn along the way. If you love it so much, you can learn.
If you like to learn, there's no one stopping you.
You just have to look into it with an open mind. I watch YouTube videos, or honestly, I would just learn from scratch, and I would have mood boards after mood boards for like my brand. And I would talk to people who have more experience. Honestly, you have to like humble down and like really ask people who know better, And from that, you put your own spin to it, You ask around, you study it, you watch YouTube videos, you read books about it, and honestly, just go for it. And like, if it doesn't work out, try something else. I feel like you could really do anything that you could put your mind into. LM is the exact example of me doing things that I put my mind into.
She's basically the epitome of women can.
We can.
We can, like
Yeah.
if you put your mind to it. Coming from a digital and tech perspective, so we do all of these creative services, we do social media services, and from my experience, a lot of people have come to us asking for help. And usually, they don't have the budget for our services. And from the business perspective, we tell them that, hey guys, if you're a small brand, everything is online. You could literally look it up and you could do the same thing. Okay, obviously, Canva is there.
Honestly,
Is
guys,
Canva your best friend?
it is my best friend. Okay, let's put it out here. I do not know how to do Photoshop. Canva is my best friend, honestly. For inspos and stuff, I have to look into like Pinterest. You guys, like I'm not good at marketing, so it's like you really just have to squeeze that creativity out of you, and then if you really can't, ask someone who can do it. You know,
Like me.
Yeah, they will help you out.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to also know if you're choosing the right platform for your brand. Since there's so many platforms available out there, like which one are you gonna use with your brand? Like there's Instagram, there's Facebook, and like what language you should use when you're talking about your brand in those certain areas.
Okay, say for example you have a food business. Food is very visual, right?
Yeah.
People won't order that if you just put like in a plain text, let's say chicken steak. I don't think people will order that if they don't see a picture of your chicken steak.
Yeah.
And a platform that is heavily relying on visuals would be Instagram. So for a lot of small food businesses, they post like really good curated photos of food, and that drives interest. That sparks conversations from potential customers. And for Facebook, in our perspective as a digital agency, it's more information heavy.
Yeah.
Let's say you're a resort, you're a hotel. Information should always be readily available on your Facebook page, like your telephone number, your website, your working hours, and things like that. Whatever business you're in, it's important to know what platform you think you should be using. And these resources are very available online. Like, you could see other businesses doing these too.
Yeah.
But it's good to target both.
Yeah.
And you don't limit yourself to one platform.
But like make sure when you do both, you're focused on both and like not neglect the other.
Yes,
Yes. I feel like it's sayang if you just focus on one aspect. Like some people don't have Instagram, some people don't have Facebook. So that way if you do both, you're able to expand your market.
Yeah. And for social media platforms, we have different audiences on both. Like on Instagram, we have the Gen Z, the millennials, because they like posting IG stories and all those curated aesthetic stuff. And on Facebook, we have our moms, our dads, titas, sending in chain messages. These are things that you could use to your advantage if you just know how. So check your market, check what people are talking about, and try to apply it to your brand when you choose your social media platform. Our fifth tip, live up to your brand. This is one of the most important things because once you're able to establish your brand online, let's say you have like a cool logo, your color palette is so nice, your branding is so nice, and people know you already to be selling like this product, like the aesthetic is on point. How do you live up to it?
First of all, your quality should be good. It shouldn't go down, it should go up. People really buy your brand because of the brand itself and the product kung good. So it's like you really need to maintain your quality or improve it. And at the same time, it's like how you live up to your brand is like through after sales service also. Like ask your customers like, hey, how do you like the perfume? What's something that we can work on towards the perfume? That way they can kind of feel like they're part of your progress as a brand also.
Exactly.
So from there, with the input of your customers and the input of like gradually you growing as a brand, it's like you can only just improve from there,
Building your brand is not just about how it looks like, it's also about what you're selling.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a food business, you're selling burgers or something. Your online brand presence is on point, like it looks really good and people are talking about it. But then when customers taste it and it tastes like crap, your branding cannot lift your product up. I'm telling you, it has to be your product.
Yeah, it has to be complementary. The product has to be good, and like the branding has to be good also.
Yes.
And you as the owner have to be good also.
Yes.
Yeah, it all ties together, I feel like. Yeah.
And this is what we always tell our clients in our company, because they sell all these products. They have a good unique selling point. They have a good vision. But when it comes to their products and they're not sure about the quality of their products, what's the point?
Yeah,
diba?
yeah.
So, una pa lang, dapat like confident na ka sa imong brand or sa imong product, because you can't sell something that
You don't like yourself.
yes, or you don't believe in, diba? So
Yeah.
it's that simple. So it takes us back to our first tip, which is knowing your why.
Yeah.
Because I think in that part we were able to tell you guys that it has to be something that you're passionate about. So before you start thinking about building your brand, think about what you're gonna sell first. Is it something that you really want to be selling, or is it something that you want to sell because you want to make money?
I feel like for us as a brand, we also want to give back. To help other people, we gotta make money. So it's like, we gotta have good product, good customer service, good brand, so that we make money to help other people. That's one of our whys, actually, to be able to also share our blessings to like charities and like other people.
So that concludes our episode today, our 5-step guide to building your brand. I hope you guys learned a thing or two about conceptualizing, about how you want to do your brand.
We hope that these tips will help you in starting your brand or even just conceptualizing and thinking about it. So before you do decide to build your brand, know that you have to really establish your own personal brand, and then from that,
You can work your way through it.
Yeah, you can work your way towards it already. Yeah.
So thanks for joining us today, Sim. And would you like to invite everyone?
Yes, so everyone, if you still haven't, follow our Instagram at Louise Mireille Parfum, and our Facebook page, please like it. It's Louise Mireille Parfum. We are available in the following physical stores and online stores. So if you're outside Davao City, you can order through Lazada. And then if you're from Davao City, we are available in Happy Holler in the Cube, Luna Lifestyle, Curious H, and we're also available through Lahi Lahi Stores Instagram or Facebook, Girl Chateau, and the Curious H also. For Zamboanga, we are available via Fad Zamboanga, Tres Bella Shop, and then for Surigao, we're also available in Ultra Smart Superstore. And that's it, pretty much.
Wow, you guys are everywhere.
We're trying to be everywhere.
She's doing all that, so if she can do it, you can do it too. Yeah. Okay, so I think you have a special treat for our viewers.
Yes, so we will have a link here in the screen, somewhere here.
This is our special code.
Yes. For our collab with the Scoop Asia, we will be offering 10% off in Lazada.
So just type in the special code voucher in their Lazada shop.
Yes.
So you can find them there. And you get a 10% off on your first order of LM perfume.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye,
See you
guys.
soon. Yes, CEO. We've come a long way soon.
Yeah, we've come a long way. We used to go to church together. I remember, do you remember?
Yes. Oh my God, Santa Ana.
Yeah, we used to like hang out when we were supposed to be listening, but we used to just play on the side.
I used to go to her house a lot of times.